What's up, guys? Welcome back to Man Cave Collectibles, coming at you today with kind of a different type of video. Today, we're going to talk with one of my good friends, and if you've been watching any of our podcasts, Mr. Wally from Once Emperor's Publishing. So he is a comic book artist. Me and him met many, many years ago at a convention here in our city, and kind of hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. He's done a lot of commissions for me. And again, just kind of built a friendship, and I'm here to really show support and present to you guys a project that he's working on. So as of right now, Wally has a Kickstarter out there for King Supreme Volume 1 and Super Bastard graphic novel. So these are two of his comic books, his lines. This is actually his second Kickstarter. He had a very successful King Supreme Kickstarter. Maybe a year, 2 years ago, Wally?
Yeah, right at a year ago. Yep.
A year ago. So this is the second Kickstarter for the King Supreme, which is a fantastic storyline. I'm actually really excited to get a hold of the this volume myself.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 25 days left on his Kickstarter. Right now he's sitting at $3,000 of his $3,500 goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to let Wally talk about this Kickstarter. You guys take it all in, and if this is something you feel like that you would be interested in, definitely go check it out. And think about supporting an indie artist. You know, our independent artists are very important. I think a lot of times we forget about our indie artists because we always see the Marvel logos, the DC logos, but there's just been some phenomenal characters and phenomenal stories come out of the indie world. I want to put this in front of you guys because I support it and I like it. I want to give you guys, my viewers, a chance to at least hear about it and see what you think. So Wally, go ahead and take us in. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here with Kickstarter.
Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you having me on here. It means a lot. It means a ton. I appreciate all the support over the years too, man. We just happen to be matching today, people. We didn't plan this, you know.
Yeah, got a little merch on today.
I would throw on a hat, but my head is like a xenomorph, so I can't really wear hats like that too well. So, but yeah, man, I've been freelancing and working in illustration for quite some time, but the past 5-6 years, maybe 7, I'm getting young, has been pretty much full time after the city of Charlotte went through some changes and just found myself kind of out there, you know, like, okay, what's the move now? So I took the part-time freelancing and turned it full-time and just kept going. So in that time, I've done projects for other people who have done successful Kickstarters. I've worked for a few different companies from Nike to, I don't know, man. The list is decent. I won't say vast, but decent, from indies to majors, and lots of conversations to sit down. Some of them you know about personally that were supposed to be like that breaking point that didn't quite happen. And then other things that are just kind of stuck in limbo in the world of comics. There's a lot of stuff that gets stuck in limbo and it can happen out the blue. But I've always been a person to push about ownership and about doing things on your own terms and not waiting for someone to provide that outlet. Just try to build it for yourself, which is tough, but can be done. So last year we did the King Supreme campaign just for the prelude book to King Supreme's story. And that campaign did $6,000. Prior to that, I did a couple Indiegogo campaigns that were successful, but this was the first time on Kickstarter for me. The guy who co-owns King Supreme with me, Danny Quick, had some successful Kickstarters, but for both of us, this was the largest one we had ever done. Everything else had been $2,000-$3,000. This was $6,000, which caught us off guard a little bit. People really took to the character and really supported it. So I figured it's about time to follow up and get the full story out there. So decided to do the King Supreme Kickstarter, but then I started thinking, why not do 2 books in one campaign so people can kind of have a choice of which direction they might want to support. So that's where Super Bastard came into the fold. But the campaign is also about me launching my own publishing venture, to kind of have a stable home for the content that I've been creating and been a part of creating. And, you know, of course, that doesn't mean I'm closing the door to freelance or working with other companies, because those are always outlets to help pay the bills, help promote and get other things out there. But I'm very, very strong on pushing your own content and, you know, telling the stories you want to tell. So King Supreme roughly is a story about, I would say a story about growth and a story about what it means to be a leader. And it's also a story about paths. Ryan Smith, who is the main character in the book, was modeled after my cousin who was murdered a few years back. Good kid, but just like me, he came up in uncertain circumstances. And those circumstances often, whether you want them to or not, they can kind of alter the paths that we choose. And even when you're trying to do the right thing, you can't control the forces outside of you that may choose something different. So with him passing, him being murdered, I just wanted to keep his name alive and honor the person that I knew him to be. So what better way to immortalize somebody than to make him into a character that can live on in its own way. So King Supreme, Ryan Smith, is one of many Supremes who have had the crown, the Onyx crown. And this particular crown embeds you with powers almost like a god. But you also gain knowledge and insight. And your job is to now figure out how to use that in the best way to lead the people. But there's other Supremes. There's 6 other crowns. So the story parallels Ryan Smith as King Supreme and Legacy Supreme, who is to us an alien from another planet who has had the crown, a different crown as well. So in the prelude, you kind of see how 2 beings on different paths can have similar situations happen that alter the choices and the decisions that they make. You know, absolute power can corrupt, or it can put you in a position to do something for yourself and others around you. And that's kind of what that story starts out as. And in the book, we continue to see those parallels. I don't call Legacy a villain. I call him more of an antagonist, because kind of like Magneto or Killmonger from Black Panther, sometimes you have to look at the full scope of what that character is and what led them to the choices that they're making. You know, it just so happens on the other end, we have our protagonist who's making different choices, and in order for the path he's looking for to happen, he's got to stop the antagonist. So that's the general gist of King Supreme. Super Bastard is a story more about evolution, growth, and figuring out what happens when choices have to be made to try to institute change. You know, a lot of times change happens by force, unfortunately. And in this story, you get to see the growth of a character who is trying to be a super, what we call them in the book. All superheroes are just called supers. And he's trying to figure out how to use his power to do something for a greater cause effectively. And in that happening, it means lines are drawn in the sand and different sides have to make a choice. The general story picks up with him as a child, and you just kind of follow the different paths he's taught by media, people around him, and then other people who are more in tune, and then him having to make his own choices. And of course, in those choices, we get a lot of intergalactic battles. We've got a lot of battles here on Earth, and it all comes down to really seeing what happens when force is used against force, and whether or not that makes true change. So those are the 2 key stories, man. The campaign itself, we have the books as options. You can select one or the other, but then we also have cool things like a lot of people have taken to the Once Emperor Tiger design. So we have hoodies, hats. I'm talking with one of the manufacturers I'm working with about getting beanies, because again, my xenomorph-sized head doesn't do good with ball caps, but I can throw the beanies on pretty easily. So we're working on like those type things, t-shirts, stickers, pins, enamel pins, skateboard decks with artwork on them from different characters and different pieces that I've done over the years. Just try to make sure it was a plethora of things that people can kind of sort through, because everybody's not heavy into the comics, or the stories may not appeal, but they may like some of the art, or they may like some of the graphics, or, you know, just like some of the gear. So just like the hat, the King Supreme hat that you have was from our last campaign. We have those again, but with different colors options this time around. I think we're going to include some camo hats, and I think red, blue, and just a few other general colors so people can have a few more options with that. We'll throw up some images here too. Cool. So, just got a few things going on there, man, that hopefully people can come in and find something that they like, find something they support. One of the big things with Once Emperors is the concept for me is just about remembering who we were as people. Once upon a time, and it was about tribes and communities and people taking care of people. And I think a lot of times in this current society, things are so segregated, especially dealing with COVID and things of that nature. We sometimes lose trace of and track of who we are or who we were as people. And my thing is to always reinstate that, especially into the younger kids, so that they take a certain pride in who they are and who they can be. Even with King Supreme, our slogan was own your crown and harness your destiny. So wanting that crown symbol to stand for something, the same way people identify with Superman's logo or Batman's logo or Spider-Man's logo, we wanted that King Supreme logo to stand for something beyond that people could take into their personal life and lifestyle and, let it represent something for them. So that's the general breakdown, man. We're currently at 51 backers, 25 days ago, $3,045. So a little over $400 away from the goal. And if we hit that, once we hit that goal, because I believe we will, I got some cool stretch goals that we're going to start announcing. So, just pushing, man, and trying to get the word out. So I definitely appreciate the platform and opportunity to try to reach a few extra people.
Absolutely. So if somebody wanted to jump in and let's say they just wanted to throw a little bit of support toward Indy, what's the lowest tier support they can get in under?
Well, Kickstarter always has an automatic pledge where you can just put in whatever amount you want.
Okay.
And because we've had people pledge as small as $1. And for me, everything counts. So I'm like, whatever you can do, especially in these current times, like it's all appreciated. But I also tell people it's not even just about the money. Word of mouth can do so much more than a financial pledge. Because I'm not turning the finances down, but I've had situations where someone tells somebody else and it turns into 3 or 4 more pledges for campaigns. So, but that's the smallest general tier. The smallest tier where you can actually receive something is at $10. So we have 2 $10 tiers where you can get an enamel pin or some of our 4x4 stickers that we have. Right now we have 3 designs for sure, but I'm trying to work on a couple of more just so people can I like giving people options when I can, and they can kind of choose what they want. And the other one is for a set of bookmarks that carry some of the characters and some of the artwork. So those are the smallest tiers we currently have on there.
Cool. Well, very nice, man. Well, this is, again, for you guys that are watching, go out and check out the Kickstarter. I'm going to put links in the description to that. I'm going to put links to Wally's Instagram page where you can kind of keep up with what's going on in the world of an artist. And also, too, he does a lot of updates as far as this campaign is concerned. He's got photos on there of the merch you can purchase and the characters, and there's a lot of information on there. So check out his Instagram page. And yeah, go check it out. I'm very excited about it. I'll be getting my pledge in at some point when I got time to sit down and figure out which one I want to do. And, we'll have us a comic book here soon.
Let me say this too, because it came to my attention. So Kickstarter is, if you're familiar with Kickstarter, then you already know kind of how it works. But for those that don't, you can pledge now, but they won't actually charge you until November 15th. So we always stress to people, if you're planning on pledging, get in as early as you can, of course, within reason of whatever your budget and things are. But just know that once you pledge, you won't be charged until the campaign ends on November 15th. So just keep that in mind, because I've had some people who they're really good at budgeting and they'll plan for that and know that it's coming out, and other people say, well, I might forget, so they wait until a little bit further into the campaign. But just want people to know that, and that you can do add-ons with this campaign. So now if you see a tier that you like but it's missing something else that you like, you can select that tier, and most items will pop up after you select the tier as add-ons that you can continue to put into your package and kind of create your own tier package if you want to. But I was told by a few people the mobile version, you got to really be paying attention to it or you'll slide right past it, compared to a desktop version where it pops up as soon as you go in and start moving things around. So, we just wanted to let people know that there are add-on options that they can add to any tier that they pick.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, get out there and let's promote it. Let's get this thing funded. You're extremely close to your $3,500 goal. So I don't think we're going to have a problem hitting that. So then really the main goal now is let's get to that first stretch goal.
Indeed, indeed.
What is
Again,
the
bro, I
what is
appreciate
the
it very
first
much.
stretch? What is the first stretch reward?
I haven't revealed it yet, so I've
Okay.
got a
Okay.
list of about 12 items, but there's only 7 on there, I believe, and I'm kind of trying to gauge what would be that cool first thank you for all this support, and then after that one, I kind of know the order of where I think I want to go, but I just got to kind of decide on which one of 2 will be that first opening stretch goal. So when once we do hit it, I'll make sure to, maybe even before that, start plugging it once I kind of throw a coin in the air and figure out which way to go with it.
And that's what you'll see on his Instagram page. So again, check those links in the description. The link straight to the Kickstarter page will be in the description as well. I appreciate you guys taking time to watch our video here. Check out Once Emperor's publishing overall, but obviously his 2 main characters being Super Bastard and King Supreme. Check those out. Wally's put a lot of time and effort into these guys, and he's got a very good story that I think you'll enjoy reading. Until next time, guys, we hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Stay safe out there.
Thank you.